pelleted or regular seeds? It's almost that time where you're going to go and get your garden seeds, and you may be wondering, what should I get? Pelleted here with the Plant Charmer channel. Today we're going to explore regular seeds and pelleted seeds, and I'll tell you guys what the difference is, the advantages of each, and what is more appropriate for your garden. So first of all, what is a pelleted seed? Well, a pelleted seed is simply a seed, usually on the smaller side, that is coated with an inert coating. In most cases, it's going to be clay. And what that allows us to do is to have a seed that is larger than the original seed and thus easier to work with. That's going to be the first benefit. So you're going to have that inert coating around, which makes the seed easier to manipulate. It's also going to be good for farmers who use seeding machines. It's actually a must, because this is going to standardize the shape and the size of each seed, which then, work much better for mechanizing operations. But in your case in the garden, pellets like this are going to be a function of having a larger seed that is easier to work with. So that is pretty much what pellets are. Now let's explore the benefits of regular seeds or pellet seeds and what's the difference between them. All right, so as previously mentioned, one of the main benefits and the easiest one to understand and the biggest benefit also is size. So to illustrate the example, I've got some pelleted seeds of lettuce here, and I've got some regular lettuce seed here. So I'm going to show you guys what the difference is in terms of size. Lettuce, we know, is always very small. It's not impossible to work with. It's not the smallest seed out there, but it's definitely not the biggest. So this is a handful of lettuce seed. There's probably, 50, 60, 70 seeds in there. So let's just put them back in. I'm just going to keep one or two, or maybe just a couple. So that's it. So these are 5 lettuce seeds that we have here. Now let me just grab one of those pellets, or 5 pellets. Let's say 5 pellets will illustrate our example really well. So that's 3, 4, and that's 5. So in my hand right now, there are 5 regular lettuce seeds and 5 pellets. Now you can tell the pellets are much larger, so they're easier to identify. Once you place that into the soil, pellets are always a light color, and that's on purpose. These ones are beige, sand colored. Most of the ones I get are usually white. I've seen some pink ones, like flash pink of tomatoes that were in the big box stores last year. But generally speaking, they are a pale color, and the reason for that is to contrast with the color of your soil, which is always dark. So when you plant, it's a lot easier to see where your seeds have gone. So getting your spacing properly done with pelleted seed is always much easier. Of course, as you can see, manipulating round seeds, little clay balls like this, is a lot easier than it is to manipulate the regular lettuce seeds, which are, I've got 2 in my hand right now. You probably can't even see them on the camera. So that does make things a lot more pleasant, a lot easier, and you're a lot more sure of how many seeds you've put where, instead of going through an entire tray or an entire row, and then once you get to the end, you kind of forget what you've put at the beginning of the row type thing. If that happens to you guys, it's normal. Happens to me. I grow commercially. It still happens to me. We have measures in place for it not to happen, but yeah, we are human beings, so that's going to be the main difference, is the size there. Now, another benefit of using pellets versus regular seeds is that you're going to waste less seed. A lot of places, a lot of garden blogs and Instagram and YouTube videos, even the seed packets themselves from the manufacturers or from the producers will tell you, take a pinch of lettuce seed and place a pinch of seed every 6 inches, for example. That's to ensure you get germination at that spot. But it's also because it's very difficult to start counting the seeds one by one. So pelleted seeds, for example, of lettuce, which has a 97 or 98% germination rate, benefit from being planted directly in the soil, but one at each spot. So no need to plant 5 or 6 different seeds in the same spot, hoping one of them is going to germinate. If I get 97 or 98 that germinate out of 100, it's great. But more importantly, I'm not going to waste seed. So pelleted seed, when you use 1 seed like this versus 3 or 4 or 5, well, you're going to use 3, 4, or 5 times less seed. And that does make a difference in the end. Your packets will go a longer way. You'll get more control over your plants, your plant spacing, your garden, your germination, and all these processes that you really need to master in order to be a good gardener. So this is what I favor on the farm. We'll talk about price a little bit later, but right now you can be sure that using this will save you 2, 3, 400% in seed that is used for your production or for your garden or whatever. I know you guys don't grow as much as I do, but right now seed is a scarce resource. They're tough to get your hands on. Even in my field, I mean, I have to wait a month for my orders, so that's it. Now let's talk about the prices a little bit. Pelleted seed is always a lot more expensive in the ranges of 30, 40, it could be 50%, it could be 100% more expensive sometimes. But if the seed is fresh and it's got high germination rates, putting one per cell or one per planting hole or location will ensure that you do not use more than a single seed, and that is extremely economical on seed. So as a commercial producer, I save probably I probably spend half of what I would spend if I used regular seed, and the extra benefit after that is these guys do not require thinning because there's one seed in a pellet and you put it in the ground and it germinates and you get one plant. So that is a savior in terms of effort and labor. So using less seed, no thinning, you seed the seed on top of the soil before you actually water or sprinkle some soil on top of your seeds before watering and then getting them to germinate. But it's a lot more control. And when you listen to my advice that I give online or you listen to the videos that I make, I talk about control a lot because this is what it is. I mean, we're just controlling the growth of the plants in a certain way and you know, kind of showing them the right direction to go, but you can't really control what they do. Their DNA does that. So being good plant stewards means we actually steer the plants in the right direction. Using pellets is just one way to do that. It's one extra tool in our toolbox. Very, very useful. I get as many as many seeds in pellet form as possible now. So we get our lettuces in pellet form, all of our onions. I mean, you guys know how small onion seed is. It's a pain to work with when it's not in pellet form. I get all my carrots pelleted and so on. So whenever they come out with a new pelleted version of a seed that I use, I'm super curious to use it. Now, we're going to talk about other seeds that do not benefit from being pelleted. I'm just going to put that back here if you guys allow me to do that. But there are some seeds that do not benefit from pelleting for obvious reasons. I think we're going to spend maybe a minute or two just explaining that quickly, but some seeds are really large already, so they don't need pelleting. It's like they come in their own pellet coating, if you will. So I've brought a little bag of, these are bush beans. It's a variety called Easy Pick. We grow that on the farm, so leftover seeds from last year. If you take these bush bean seeds, I mean, they're huge. Each one of them is probably like 3 of the pellets I showed you before. So, and they're white too. So you could just lay these on top of the soil, cover with a bit of soil, and then on the second pass and on the third pass, just water it. And these guys will come up. These large seeds contain a lot of energy, so their germination is really, really good. So seeds such as beans, peas, you're gonna have corn, even smaller seed than bean-sized seed, but larger than lettuce. For example, beet seed does not need pelleting. So these seeds are perfect as they are. For anything smaller than that, you're going to need pellets, or you're going to prefer pellets. One last thing before we close off this video, I want to mention to you guys that there is certain seed that is so small that it's impossible to put, or almost impossible to put one seed per pellet. So for these seeds such as oregano and tiny seed like that, you're going to have multi-seed pellets. So that's going to be mentioned on the packet. If you read carefully, when there's more than one seed, they should mention it at the very least. Multi-seed pellets. So you get your oregano pellets, you put a couple in your little planter. A lot of plants come up, you're going to have to thin those out, but that's part of the game. These seeds are just so small, they're really impossible to pick one single seed and then put that in a pellet and have nothing else. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's not the most critical information for your garden, but it helps you in your choices when you're at the garden center. I really strongly believe in knowledge, and possessing knowledge allows you to make the good choices, which then lead to good results. So don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, share it with your friends, keep it green, and I'll see you at the next video.